Hello, and welcome back to the story. Today we will be making a recap on a 2003 movie titled Old School. The story begins with a lawyer named Mitch who comes back from a business trip. He is surprised to find out that his girlfriend Heidi joins an erotic party with multiple people. She reasons out that it is purely for fun, but Mitch still breaks up with her. The next day, his friend Frank is getting married. Their other friend Beanie tries to convince him to back down, saying being married would do him no good. However, the wedding still goes on. At the wedding party, Mitch meets his high school crush named Nicole. Mitch is drunk and accidentally spills hot coffee on her and tries to wipe it off. After the breakup, Mitch went house searching and found a house inside a campus called Harrison University. That night, to help Mitch forget his ex, Beanie throws a party at Mitch's house they named Mitch A Palooza. Frank got so wasted at the party that he runs naked in the neighborhood. His wife thought that he had matured and had left his old life behind. However, she and her friends found him, and this made her disappointed. The next day, Mitch wakes up beside Darcy. He is worried at first, but she assures him that is just a casual one-night stand. Later that morning, the dean of the campus, Pritchard, comes in. They used to bully and prank him during their childhood, so Pritchard has always been rooting for revenge. The dean tells them that Mitch's house is for campus use only and he has 1 week left to move out. Frank and his wife later go to a council to help them with their marriage. But Frank made it worse by saying he imagines underpants of other ladies and that he is freaked out because he can only make love with one woman for the rest of his life. Mitch is in a meeting with his boss, Mr. Goldberg. Darcy visits him and he is shocked to find out that she is the daughter of his boss. Mitch awkwardly shakes her hands. He then chokes when he finds out that Darcy is still in high school. Later that night, Mitch goes home and sees Frank outside, saying he is currently having a problem with his wife and can't come home. When they go inside, they see a lot of men listening to Beanie, who is talking about a fraternity. Beanie introduces Mitch as the godfather, and they applaud. The three go to the kitchen and Mitch asks Beanie what is going on. Beanie said that the party got them all kinds of street credit, so he decided to start a fraternity. Beanie adds that it is his solution for the dean's problem. He says that since the house can only be used for social services and student housing, a fraternity would be a good solution. Mitch does not want it at first, but Beanie manages to convince him. The next day, the three started taking out the men who wants to pledge to the fraternity. They run after a guy on scooter, a man who's gone groceries with his wife, and an old man named Blue sitting on the bench. That evening, they started a test of trust where a cinder block is tied to their manhood using a rope. They tell them to drop the cinder block and trust that the rope is long enough for the block to safely land on the lawn. The fat guy accidentally drops his block to a manhole, bringing him down. The next day, the group jogs throughout the campus chanting. The dean watches this in disbelief. He calls the security to bring them out. He asks his assistant why the fraternity is still on the campus when it has already been 2 weeks. The assistant says that the frat guys found a loophole. That is why they cannot bring the fraternity down. At his workplace, Mitch is confronted by his colleague requesting to join the fraternity, but Mitch refuses because he does not want to mix his career with the fraternity. His colleague blackmails Mitch about him hooking up with the boss's daughter. Mitch denies it and leaves. While talking with Beanie, Nicole arrives with her daughter. Mitch apologizes for what happened at the wedding and Nicole gives him a CD holder as a housewarming gift. Two men suddenly shouts, calling Mitch the godfather, and he tries to shoo them away. Beanie then invites them to his son's birthday party. That night, Frank tries to call his wife but can't seem to find the right words to say. Meanwhile, his wife is with her friends participating in a lesson on how to satisfy their husband hosted by a gay trainer. Frank later arrives home and sees his wife seemingly doing the trainer. Frank sneaks into the kitchen and attacks the trainer, but the trainer swings him over and hits him with a teapot. At the birthday party, Nicole arrives with her boyfriend Mark. At the kitchen, Mitch finds out that Nicole has been dating Mark for already 2 years. She also confesses that she had a crush on Mitch in high school, and Mitch tells her how he also had a huge crush on her. She asks why Mitch never asked her out. He says he is intimidated by her back then. In the bathroom, Mitch catches Mark making out with a waitress. Mitch decides to keep it a secret from Nicole. One day, the dean, together with his assistant, talks with the president of the student council named Megan. He asks Megan to revoke the temporary status of the fraternity which keeps them from staying on the campus. Megan refuses, saying that everybody loves the frat guys. The dean then bribes her, saying he can help her get into Columbia Law School. Nicole goes to Mitch's office to ask for help on a house lease because she will be moving in with Mark. Mitch is about to tell Nicole about what happened with Mark and the waitress, but he later changes his mind. He then asks Nicole for dinner, and she gladly accepts. That night, the fraternity celebrates the Old Man Blue's birthday with a jelly wrestling. The main event is the 89-year-old Blue versus two ladies. The two ladies got naked and Blue suddenly faints and falls down.